they are still controlled by the same corporate interests, the same corporate entities. They are still beholden to the same corporate masters. And while there are differences, marginal differences that lead to massive differences for the average people, but like marginal differences in policy between the two parties, the reality is there is broad consensus politics on issues that pertain to material realities, like keeping healthcare private. Okay, I think you're getting botted right now, so those guys can drop 10K and be like, see, he was buying bots too. Am I? Oh, yeah, I'm getting botted again. I don't understand why they would bot a terrorist. You know? All right, let's get to Mexico.
Breaking news out of Mexico. Canadians in Puerto Vallarta are being ordered to shelter in place as violence escalates in the region. This comes after reports from the Associated Press saying that the Mexican army killed Mencho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Ottawa is warning Canadians in Jalisco State, including Puerto Vallarta, that criminal groups have set up roadblocks with burning vehicles in the area. Here's a look at the advisory on the Global Affairs website. It says, in part, that there have been shootouts with security forces and explosions, adding that all taxi and rideshare services have been suspended until further notice. It goes on to tell people in the state to keep a low profile, monitor local and international media to stay informed, and follow the advice of local authorities. And multiple airlines, including Air Canada, have canceled flights into the Puerto Vallarta airport.
Hotels are not changing their pricing, charging people for staying past checkout, not giving room extensions unless it jacked up rates law, mostly Marriott and Hilton. That's crazy. Never let a crisis go to waste, dude. Holy fuck. It seems to be more relaxed here in Guadalajara at the moment. My family's in parts of Mexico that are being affected. It's fucking scary. These goons are literally running around cities with guns and causing chaos. Yeah, I mean, they're doing terrorism. That's what fucking cartels do. When they don't get their... When they feel like they're threatened, that's what they do. That's what they have the capability of doing. And they're armed to the fucking teeth by the American government sometimes, or at least like the American arsenal and gun manufacturers. So...
Вон видно какие-то очаги возгорания. Но первое началось он там оттуда, с гор где-то. Прям повалил густой дым такой. Здесь все еще...
Bro, imagine. Bro left Russia, came to Puerto Vallarta, is like, come on. He's like, I mean, what is this? I leave Moscow because they do drone strike. I come to Mexico. I think this is tropical vacation. Now their bomb exploding. What the fuck? Сука, блядь.
Валит дым. Хлопки какие-то ебашат. Что-то они там, видимо, взрывают. Вон вижу еще новый дым появился. Откуда это? Прям с Маликона, что ли? Хуй знает. А, вон еще, кстати, появился дым. Ну, что-то, короче, какие-то, видимо, разборки картеля.
Are weapons a big U.S. export or something? Are you serious? You're joking. I'm okay. That's a joke. Okay, I'm getting baited by someone being sarcastic, right?
Блин, похоже, они тут бои ведут. Вот сейчас здесь вот появился еще один этот. Вот, хлопки постоянно идут. То есть, не знаю, надолго ли они тут собрались это все делать.
Is this killing a response to the liberal criticism that Claudia Scheinbaum is in the pocket of the cartels? No, the liberals are now criticizing Claudia Scheinbaum for fucking killing a cartel head and saying it was a disastrous decision and caused tremendous instability. At least the ones I saw. No, they just fucking hate Claudia Scheinbaum because they hate Claudia Scheinbaum because she's a social democrat. It's literally the same shit. It's the same shit with me. Oh, Hasan, you don't do anything. You don't leave your home. Oh, when you do leave your home, it's still performative. You're doing it for a fucking photo op. It's like, what do you want me to do? Oh, all you do is sit inside and fucking chirp, chirp, chirp. Oh, okay, you went out on the field? Well, you were doing that as a fucking photo op. Fuck you. There are some hogs that are praising her, though. Did not expect Lamau. So there was also some misinformation that came out as well. I retweeted it from the Mexican government that, or not, misinformation that came out that the Mexican government actually identified. Laura Loomer, CBS News, and numerous other outlets were just like saying that, where is it? They were saying that there was like a coordination with the Americans, right? And Claudia Scheinbaum says the Secretary of National Defense reported on the operation carried out this morning by federal forces, which resulted in various blockades and other reactions. There is absolute coordination with the governments of all states. We must remain informed and calm. The social media account of the Security Cabinet provide permanent updates in the vast majority of national territory. Activities are proceeding with complete normality. My recognition to the Mexican Army, National Guard, Armed Forces, and Security Cabinet. We work every day for peace, security, justice, and the well-being of Mexico. There was also, where is it? The National Security. Where's the fucking tweet from the Mexican, not the embassy, but there was a tweet that was like, this is fake. I can't find the fucking tweet that was like calling out the misinformation. Yeah, oh, here. Mexico's, this is the one I was looking for. Embassy of Mexico in the U.S. This post is false. The military operation in Topalpa, Jalisco, aimed at capturing Ruben and alias Mencho, was planned and executed by the Mexican Special Forces. The action was carried out within the framework of bilateral cooperation with the U.S. authorities, providing complementary intelligence. Mexican National Guard and Army troops are currently reinforcing security in Jalisco and neighboring states to maintain order. Because Laura Loomer claimed that the U.S. eliminated a top cartel leader in Mexico, Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, has retaliated by storming the Guadalajara airport with armed gunmen. They are now taking the American tourists hostage in nearby hotels and highways. So Laura Loomer is doing fake news across the board internationally. Laura Loomer is not a credible source of news. Yeah, no shit. But yeah, as it stands, basically what ended up happening is they assassinated, well, they tried to arrest El Mencho, who, from what I understand, is one of the biggest cartel leaders in Mexico right now. And Mexico, unfortunately, regardless of the wonderful work that Morena has done, is basically like a narco state, right? Like different territories are owned by different cartels. And she has been working at tackling this problem for a while. And the Morena Party has actually got a lot of support from the population due to all of the expansion of the welfare state, like all the developmentary projects that they're engaging in. And yes, they were the biggest, was the biggest. So the defense Mexico informs the public that through Central Military Intelligence efforts from the National Intelligence Center and the Attorney General's Office, FEMDO, Special Forces of the Mexican Army planned and executed an operation in Tapalpa, Jalisco, in which various aircraft from the Air Force and the National Guard's immediate reaction special force intervened to achieve detention of Ruben and Mencho. During this operation, military personnel were attacked, so in defense of their integrity, they repelled the aggression, resulting in 4 members of the CJNG criminal group dead at the scene and 3 seriously injured, who lost their lives during their transfer via air to Mexico City. Among the latter is Ruben N., also known as Mencho. However, the corresponding authorities will handle all expert activities for their identification. In addition to the above, 2 other members of this criminal organization were detained and various weaponry and armored vehicles were seized, including rocket launchers capable of downing aircraft and destroying armored vehicles. Where do you think they get that from, chat? Us. We, our special forces, our military. Okay? That's why we say that a lot of the cartels are either directly or indirectly involved with the American Special Forces, the CIA, the DEA, depending on which cartel you're looking at. Okay? We give them these weapons. And they're geared out the fucking wazoo. How did our weapons get to them? What do you mean? UPS, motherfucker. What are you talking about? How do you think drug trafficking and human trafficking works? They traffic drugs and they get, in exchange for the drugs that they send to the United States of America, they get weapons in return. That's the whole ordeal. We are responsible. I know everybody says, well, Hasan, you say America bad, America bad, America bad, but like we are quite literally responsible for our own fucking demise and the demise of Mexico. We destabilize a major country that is right there to the south of our border, that we have a long ass border with. We destabilize the fuck out of that country and we keep it under control. It's the same destabilization principle that we have applied, that European colonists have applied in both Africa and in the MENA region in general. It's the same thing that we've done in Latin America. Okay? Foment sectarian infighting. But in the circumstance of Mexico, instead of creating sectarian infighting, they just have competing interests between different cartels that seize control over entire territories of the country. Okay? This weakens the state apparatus. This causes the state to never fully become a sovereign state. And while we're doing that, obviously there's a shit ton of people that try to escape that violence and come to the United States of America. And this creates an unlimited faucet of low wage labor that can destabilize the American labor market. It's a win-win. Like, look at the cartel members and the kits that they have.
A ver si muy verga, te topas con nosotros. Ahí tengo desamarrados los perros, culero. Y así, voy a andar patrullando. Pues tu puta madre.
Órale, vente, hijo de puta madre. Bríncale a la verga. Bríncale al toro, perro.
Hijo de tu puta madre.
AI, bro? I don't think this is AI. There's also, yeah, I've seen them with like fucking, they have this thing where they have like, allegedly this is an old video. No, I know. This isn't like a recent one. I'm saying I've seen like old cartel videos, sometimes on cartel TikTok. My For You page turns into fucking cartel TikTok. And ATF gun walking scandal. Gun walking, or letting guns walk, was a tactic used by the Arizona U.S. Attorney's Office and Arizona Field Office of the United States Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, which ran a series of sting operations between 2006 and 2011 in the Tucson and Phoenix area, where the ATF purposely allowed licensed firearms dealers to sell weapons to illegal straw buyers, hoping to track the guns to Mexican drug cartels leaders and arrest them. These operations were done under the umbrella Project Gunrunner, a project intended to stem the flow of firearms into Mexico by interdicting straw purchases and gun traffickers within the United States. The Jacob Chambers case began in October 2009 and eventually became known in February 2010 as Operation Fast and Furious, after agents discovered Chambers and other suspects under investigation belonged to a car club. Each weapon was equipped with a GPS unit initially installed by the El Paso Intelligence Center, later purchased at local electronics shop by the ATF. Critically, the GPS battery life was only a few days, and the GPS weapon tracker signal was routinely lost, especially in car trucks. The lack of technical sophistication and failure of GPS trackers were the major reasons for Fast and Furious's failure as an ATF operation. But this is not even what I'm talking about, because this is a lack of interagency cooperation. Because if they wanted to figure out who was fucking running the guns, they would go to JSOC. They would go to the CIA. They would go to the DEA. And be like, who are you giving these guns to? All of these biggest cartels are directly farming from the Mexican army, Mexican federal law enforcement that are getting trained by Americans or have directly been trained by Americans, and then they form their own fucking cartels. Like Zetas are straight up trained by JSOC. CJNG is very military, very uniform, very well trained, a lot of them being linked to joint U.S.-Mexican task forces. Yes. These guys are not LARPing, bro. They're just wealthy Latinos who do that shit in America for fun because they have money and we can LARP like that here. I'm not shocked that the cartel would have that shit too. Chatter, these guys are not LARPing. They are fucking ruthless killers. Okay? They have drones. They have anti-drone weaponry. Like, they're not fucking around. Yeah, Los Zetas is the cartel you're thinking of. They got trained by JSOC and then instantly went rogue. Went rogue. Los Zetas. Yeah. Rafael Caro Quintero worked for Miguel Nazar Haro, the Fort Bragg-trained Mexican security official who, with CIA backing, organized the cartel system in Mexico. Right-wing CIA paramilitaries trained at Caro Quintero's ranch and made hefty donations to the Nicaraguan Contras. There are very few elements within the cartel structure in Mexico that are not directly intertwined with the American State Department. Claudia Sheinbaum has basically, within the confines of diplomacy, said as much. It's like a known secret in Mexico that a lot of these paramilitaries are either directly trained by American Special Forces, or they are, without realizing, indirectly tied back to different agencies, different departments. Okay? Think of a cartel like a fascist militia. The irony, of course, is that in order to keep them sustainable, the marketplace is the United States of America. Yes, they fucking dominate Mexican politics and they operate within the confines of Mexico, but their major market is the United States of America. Okay? Not a militia paramilitary. Yes. It's insane. Here is the CJNG, the Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación, CJNG, fields weapons and gear rivaling some armies, armored vehicles, tactical equipment, modern rifles. The ones I saw also have a feeder to like a fucking bullet backpack. You know what I'm talking about? That allows them to fucking shoot unlimited bullets basically without reloading. Like it looks like it's crazy. You know how like sometimes you can do a belt feed? It's not even like a Gatling gun. They've taken like an AR-15. It's not an M60. They'll take like an AR-15 and put a belt feeder on the AR-15 that is fed into a backpack, because a belt fed machine gun is still going to have, bullet limitations. These guys are basically doing fucking helldiver shit in real life. They modify their weapons. It's crazy. So some of these armored trucks are basically same as ISIS tacticals, like, because modern warfare has evolved so much, and it's actually very fast-paced and very dynamic. A lot of the guys use drones now as well. Drone warfare is like a major part of this now. Ukraine obviously proved that as well. But like, warfare has become like infinitely cheaper to conduct as well. So when they say they got like armored vehicles, they're talking about like they're basically talking about the same thing that like ISIS has, like tacticals or technicals, not tacticals. Fuck. Technicals. Anyway, they have crazy gear. They have crazy methods. Timu ass gear, brother. What are you talking about? This Timu ass gear is literally what is being deployed in fucking Ukraine right now. If it's good enough for the Russian military, if it's good enough for the Ukrainian military, if it's good enough for fucking ISIS, it's good enough for them. Like, it gets the job done, It fucking gets the job done. Bro, you got to be careful exposing them working with the CIA, like you said, beginning stream. Wait, what? Oh, okay, there's a difference between like doing regular news reporting and then like making fun of them. I'm not making fun of them. I'm not undermining them. I think they're very scary. They're terrifying. Yeah, this is a real weapon, basically. Timestamp segment about Los Zetas.
I want to talk about Los Zetas.
So this is Chris Hedges, friend of the show, talking to other friend of the show, Seth Harp, about his book that he wrote, specifically about drug trafficking and murder in the special forces. Seth Harp wrote the book Fort Bragg Cartel, exposing a lot of these connections.
These are the big Mexican drug cartel. You write the advent of Los Zetas, who really were narco-terrorists, inaugurated the darkest era in all of Mexican history. Trained in marksmanship, rapid deployment, ambushes, surveillance, and psychological operations, Los Zetas used overt military force to consolidate control over most of the Texas border and the Gulf Coast port of Veracruz, augmented by the state and local police forces that they co-opted, as well as an endless supply of short-lived hitmen recruited from the lumpen class of the northern borderlands. Los Zetas wore paramilitary uniforms, drove around in homemade armored vehicles called monstros, and to sow terror, filmed themselves committing sickening atrocities. Countless thousands died in their raids, assaults, and sprees of arson. Countless thousands more were abducted and disappeared. A sophisticated criminal militia that used encrypted communications and had the backing of deep-pocketed investors, powerful lawyers, and many Mexican politicos, Los Zetas leveraged their military control over large swaths of territory to diversify into nearly every illicit enterprise imaginable, reaping billions of dollars in profits. And where did they come from?
So Los Zetas are a perfect example of how U.S. militarism and intervention in foreign countries, in this case Mexico, stimulates drug trafficking and spreads terrorism and murder to the countries that are victimized by these forms of imperialism. The Los Zetas were trained by the Special Forces. It's a Mexican Special Forces unit that was trained by the U.S. Green Berets, including at Fort Bragg, also at Fort Benning, and they also were trained by Israeli instructors. And they were meant to be in the mold of the Green Berets. They were.
Guess where CJNG trained as got their military experience? Just to show that we're always ahead of the game. We posted the CJNG training in Ukraine in September. Members of the Mexican drug cartel Jalisco New Generacion have undergone combat training in Ukraine on how to operate drones, according to Mexico's Milenio newspaper, citing law enforcement sources in the Jalisco state. CJNG fighters reportedly traveled to Ukraine where they learned modern warfare tactics, including precision strikes with UAVs. Training took place directly in the conflict zone, giving cartel members real battlefield experience. Their movement in pairs, use of cover, weapons handling, and retreat tactics now mirror combat methods typical of high-intensity warfare. Milenio notes that CJNG already employs drones and clashes with rival cartels and government forces, carrying out airstrikes on remote areas. The group is said to be forming specialized combat units of at least 10 men, each capable of simultaneously operating 2 explosive-laden drones. Their tactics increasingly resemble those of guerrilla organizations. The drones used are civilian models. Reports mention the DJI Matrice 300 RTK, also deployed in Ukraine for dropping anti-tank grenades, as one of the UAVs adapted by the cartel for combat operations. Drop the G, say with an H sound instead, like generación. Okay. Yeah, this is them filmed with their gear. Formed in 2009, they're the biggest exporters of fentanyl into the United States, said to have up to 10,000 armed members, involved heavily in the international drug trade into Europe and U.S., been growing quickly since the 2010s. Jalisco Way. Present in all 32 Mexican states, most influential in Jalisco, Nayarit, Colima, Veracruz, in direct competition with the Sinaloa cartel, have been known to field technical type vehicles and drones. You didn't grow up in Mexico if you didn't see videos of what they were doing in peak terror. I mean, I've seen videos of what they've done in peak terror. I didn't grow up in Mexico, but I did see the videos. That's why I'm saying, like, you know, these guys don't fuck around. They are basically like what the American military without any sort of JAG structure, the American military without any attorneys, okay? Like, imagine some of the worst shit that the American Marines get up to in places that we dominate. But this time, everyone's doing it, and actually, it's welcomed. Think about like what the special forces do in terms of what the special forces do, what they get up to when they want to fucking wreak havoc, right? Now, assume that they have no control over some of their most violent ambitions, and as a matter of fact, it's rewarded, it's welcomed, it's a good thing because then it's a part of the psyop. Their ruthlessness is a part of their power. Like, they do not shy away from murdering oppositional figures, dissidents, people in high-ranking positions of power in the government, in the police force. Anyone and everyone that actually opposes them in some meaningful capacity will get fucking destroyed. They'll get tortured. They literally chop their heads off. They do horrible shit, which is ironic because that's precisely what the American Special Forces do. That's literally what the American Special Forces do, and that's what this fucking book is about. This book is literally about the Mexican cartels and how they learned to do this from our guys, okay? From our fucking freaks, our weirdos. JSOC Operations is literally just an international cartel, okay? An international cartel with unlimited funding from the American government, from the Pentagon, that then is a self-sustaining operation because they do, you know, they secure assets for international criminal organizations. So, I think it was literally a month ago where Claudia Sheinbaum came out and revealed this report. Mexican cartels overpower police with ammunition made from the U.S. military. Drug syndicates have used 50 caliber ammunition produced at a plant owned by the U.S. Army and smuggled across the border in attacks on Mexican civilians and police. I believe like 50 to 70% of all of their munitions come directly from well, almost all of their guns come from America, but I think like 50% of their munitions directly come from the Army. Okay. It's fucking insane. This is a sad fact. The armored car in this video does not belong to the Mexican Army. CJNG attack against the Mexican National Guard military base in San Isidro. Video showing CJNG attack. I don't know if I can show this, chatter. I think this probably has blood in it. This is the belt-fed rifle you were talking about. Same kind they have in Ukraine. Oh yeah, this is it. Yeah. But this is the military, right? This is like the Mexican. Yeah, I think this is the, well, not the military, but the federal. This is the Mexican special forces, maybe. Yeah, see? They have the same belt-fed backpack. So, you know, we are yet again at the heart of the story. We are a cancerous entity. Could be a psyop. Abusing uniforms for false flags is what RWDs do best in the region. Oh yeah, they have all of the Chinese weapons too, for the record. I mean, they have the 50 cal. But then they also have the anti-drone weapons as well. Not only do they have the anti-drone weapons, they have also drones. They impersonate Los Federales. Last time I was stopped by a cartel, they were pretending to be sheriffs. So yeah. They have all the gear in the world. They have all the weapons. They have the training. But if you know anything about the way that the United States of America operates, if you know anything about our entanglements and our support and our utilization of groups like Al-Qaeda or ISIS in areas that we have interest in destabilizing, you would understand why the cartels operate the way that they do in Mexico. Okay? We need to get Hamas hooked up with some of this stuff. No, the very fact that Hamas will never have some of this stuff implies that they are not within America's realm of interest. That's the whole point. It's not an accident that the Palestinian resistance doesn't have any of this equipment, and yet all these other fucking terrorist organizations do. Think, chatter. Think. That's the kind of the point, you know? It's not a fucking coincidence, dude. It's not a coincidence. They're like, when you look at the ISIS guys, they're some of the most geared motherfuckers out there on the field. How did that happen? I mean, FSA is basically the more official version of that. It's like the same international Salafist brigade that the Turkish government is arming and training. You know? It's because we are giving them the guns and we are giving them the training. We are teaching them how to use the guns that we're giving them. That weapon that you saw that was like weird is an anti-drone weapon. Yeah, meanwhile, fucking 17-year-olds are making bathtub rockets with like unexploded ordnance from the Israeli side in the fucking Gaza Strip. And like hand-dropped improvised explosive devices that they dump inside of a fucking tank because the guys inside, the rear admiral, brigadier generals inside think it's too hot because the tank doesn't have fucking AC. So they keep the lid open. Why are you talking about Los Zetas when the CJNG is a different group that was formed at a different time? The reason why I was bringing up Los Zetas I feel like you've blanketed all the cartel groups as one group and designated them all as terrorists. I'm not saying they're good people, but I feel like you've robbed the nuance from this entire coverage. No, you're misunderstanding my point. The reason why I was bringing up Los Zetas specifically is because it's one where we know there's direct involvement with the American Special Forces in terms of training. The different cartels have different interests. They compete against one another. They sometimes wage war against one another. But that is a destabilizing factor that makes it much harder for the state of Mexico, to control their own country. Okay? I'm saying that almost all of these cartels, if not all of these cartels, have some degree of connection to at least one aspect of American federal law enforcement, an agency. Some are CIA, some are DEA, some are ATF. But there's always some level of connection, and many are also JSOC. So a lot of these cartels, like for example, a lot of these cartels hire people from the Mexican army or like the federal government. They will go and poach talent from federal law enforcement. Federal law enforcement that gets training in the United States of America. They do like joint, they do joint task forces. They do stuff like that. They do joint training operations. And then basically these guys will go to them and be like, you want to join the fucking cartel? We'll give you a lot more money. So then they join the fucking cartel. So that's an indirect involvement that the American government and American law enforcement has with the cartels that way. If you're sympathetic to the cartels because they give money to locals, you are a moron. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to get into that stuff, obviously. Why did Trump want her to crack down on them, though? Is he's trying to destabilize Mexico or what? No, the cartel's existence can also... It's like saying ISIS is operating in fucking Syria. We got to go to Syria. It's the same shit. Hello? It's literally the same shit. They're like, ISIS is operating in fucking Syria. We got to go bomb Syria. We got to go and train the forces on the ground in Syria. It's the same principle for Donald Trump. Cartels are way scarier than ISIS, no cap. Brother, cartels are literally the same as ISIS. Are you fucking kidding me? They're scarier than ISIS? What are you, insane? Do you know what ISIS has done? Do you know what ISIS does? If anything, cartels are a little bit more tolerant to the locals depending on which cartel you're talking about, as opposed to ISIS. It's crazy. I can't believe we're making this comparison. I mean, they are both maximum bad, okay? They are functionally the same. They operate in the same way. Their opaque funding is also coming from sometimes the exact same institutions. They operate as an instrument of American imperialism, and that's it. That's literally it. It's like... Wait, but doesn't Cartel only attack bad people? What? Did you guys go on Cartel Talk so much that you just like developed a fondness to the cartel? What the fuck's going on in this chat? Anyway. Bro, they got some bangers, not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, they do, but that's crazy. Okay. Anyway, during this operation, Mexican military personnel were attacked, and in defense of their physical integrity, they repelled the aggression. This resulted in 4 members of the CJNG, including Mencho, to die. In addition, 2 members of the criminal organization were arrested, and various weapons and armored vehicles were seized, including rocket launchers capable of shooting down aircraft. Unfortunately, during this military action, 3 members of the institution were wounded and were likewise transferred to the medical facility in Mexico City for emergency medical care. In addition to central military intelligence efforts, complementary information was provided by U.S. authorities within the framework of bilateral coordination and cooperation with the United States. At this time, elements of the Mexican National Guard and Mexican Army troops from center of the country and states neighboring Jalisco are mobilizing to reinforce security of the state. With these actions, the Secretary of the National Defense reaffirms his commitment to contributing to the strengthening of Mexico's security, Mexican Army, Air Force, and National Guard, the great force of Mexico. Someone who said Guadalajara is safe. People were saying that the airport was in a state of panic because they thought like something happened, but I don't know if that was all like...
No mames. ¿Están bien?
Just got off my flight from Mexico. What the fuck? Wait. Chad was like, what happened? Bedlam. It's insane how entrenched the cartels are now, thanks CIA. Reports of gunmen actively storming the Guadalajara International Airport in Jalisco. Yeah, this is my favorite. The drug cartels do not exist. I have not read this book. I will say ahead of time. I have not read this book, but I really like the vibes of the book. I've only read bits and pieces from the book, but the book is called Drug Cartels Do Not Exist, Narco Trafficking and Culture in the U.S. and Mexico. One of the coolest aspects of this book is the idea that El Chapo Guzman was actually not a real head of a cartel, but was simply a fall guy, and that many of these cartels... Bro, you did not read the book? Yes, I did not. That's why I said I have not read the book. I didn't say I read the book. I literally said I did not read the book. I'm explaining to you that that's not... Are you not listening? I'm the one who said it. Lock in. Anyway, but one of my favorite takeaways from the bits and pieces that I've seen is that all of the like heads of cartels that they arrest are not actually real heads of cartel, but they're fall guys. And including El Chapo Guzman. Perfect time to listen to this EZLN banger. Okay, but this is not a cartel. That's crazy. These are the Zapatistas in the Chiapas region. They're a semi-autonomous anarcho-communist militia that seeks to protect the bean farmers from the cartel. And they do fight the cartels. But from what I understand, they're nowhere near as powerful as they once were. You can't watch music videos of terrorists? These are not terrorists. Brother, these are not terrorists. Alex Jones buys his coffee beans from these guys. That's not even a fucking joke, by the way. That is real.
Liberal. Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl, gas.
Alex Jones's coffee comes from the Chiapas region from these guys. It's not even a joke. His coffee beans are sourced directly from Zapatista-controlled territory. Anyway, one of the few like functioning anarcho-communist, like semi-autonomous states in the world, on the planet. Apparently the airport takeover was fake news. It is false that members of organized crime took over facilities of the Guadalajara airport. The video circulating on social media does not show a takeover of the facilities of the Guadalajara International Airport in Jalisco. On February 22nd, the airport reported that it's operating normally and that no incidents have been recorded within the facilities, nor there's any risk of passengers, staff, or visitors. It clarified that the airport terminal is under the protection of personnel from the National Guard and the Secretariat of National Defense as part of the ongoing coordination efforts with federal authorities. Wait, what? How did he end up buying from them? What do you mean? You can just... Brother, it's Mexico. You could just buy from them. You can just source your coffee beans from them. They sell coffee. What are you talking about? It's not like illegal. You just go and you can buy it online. Why do you guys want me to watch this?
To go along with this, and I've seen through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Thank you. Finally, you got me to watch this fucking video, dude. Anyway, you know Goku Mexican, right? Yes. Of course I know Goku Mexican. In 2006, EZLN formally abandoned armed rebellion, marking a significant departure from tactics that initially brought them to prominence. Decades later, the Zapatista movement remains a transformative force in Chiapas, pioneering models of autonomous governance. Drawing on indigenous Mayan traditions, they implemented revolutionary social policies, including universal healthcare and community-based education systems. The Zapatistas continue to inspire movements worldwide, serving as a symbol of resistance and self-determination for indigenous peoples and oppressed communities fighting for justice. Yeah. Led by the iconic Subcomandante Marcos, the movement attracted global attention through its symbolic resistance. The Mexican government viewed them as a grave threat, both for their local impact and international attention they garnered. Yeah, they got real pissed off. they got real fucking pissed off during the NAFTA. These are maybe they like Trump too. Maybe they were subcomandante. Yeah, they hated NAFTA. The Zapatista uprising in 1994 in Chiapas, Mexico was carefully planned to coincide with the enactment of the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, which they saw as a symbol of economic policies that marginalized indigenous communities and deepened inequality. The Zapatistas aimed to reclaim land and wealth from the privileged elite and empower indigenous and marginalized populations. They denounced centuries of exploitation and demanded dignity, autonomy, and justice for the oppressed in Mexico. What is this? My uncle lives 10 minutes away from the EZLN. What? Anyway, and NAFTA was approved after the current president stole the election completely on election day and the servers of the machines crashed. Yeah, Rage Against the Machine, I think, in 1994, the Zapatista army rose up demanding an end to the... Anyway, yeah, Tom Rose has always been woke as fuck. I don't know how you can say the U.S. is involved in any of this. Look at the cartel attack the embassy. Cartels are burning U.S. embassies now. Multiple vehicles burned in the parking lot of the Costco. I didn't understand what you were trying to say, dude. You're so stupid. Multiple vehicles burned in the parking lot of Costco in Puerto Vallarta as the CJNG cartel continues its rampage throughout the city. The fact that they're doing this in Puerto Vallarta is actually significant because normally the cartels have an established understanding, like a handshake agreement with the government, that they don't fuck with the areas where tourists are. And Puerto Vallarta is one of the areas where the tourists are. They're not supposed to fuck with the money, basically. That's why they also don't kidnap American citizens. They don't like usually do anything to American citizens. Is this guy calling Costco a U.S. embassy? Yes, that's the joke. Incredible things are happening on Gringo Tourist Reddit. Westin Puerto Vallarta won't honor late checkout with streets closed. I am Platinum Elite. Oh my God, this is Austin. This is literally out. This is so Austin.
I hate white people. I hate white people.
I'm gay and Lebanese.
I am Platinum Elite. Over 1,000 lifetime Marriott nights. PV is on fire due to the cartel setting cars and buses on fire all over the city. The airport's closed and Ubers and taxis are not running. I asked for a 4 p.m. checkout, which I'm entitled to based on availability. They won't extend past 2 p.m. and said we would have to use the hospitality suite. We are supposed to be leaving for Bucerios this afternoon, but that isn't looking very good. Worst Bonvoy property I've ever experienced. I don't think anyone will be checking in today, so there's no reason not to extend us to 4 p.m.
I'm gay and Lebanese.
That is, oh God, I can't wait to show this to Austin. I cannot wait to have this conversation with Austin. Oh my God, one more time.
I'm gay and Lebanese.
Like it's funny because, yes, the fucking... What is this breaking? Taco stand still open in Guadalajara, Jalisco. Dude, pamphlets pisses me off sometimes. Like they play too much. They do too much like fake news. It's so goddamn annoying. And then people believe they're fake news and they get like hella fucking impressions on it. And then people are like, oh, the North Korea's gonna nuke Israel. Like it just, I fucking hate that shit so much. Come on, man. I know you're like a meme account, but Jesus Christ. I just never trust pamphlets. I'll be seriously. They never source. And they always fucking make shit up. Except for this taco stand, which is very clearly still open in Jalisco. Bro, it's so clear when it's fake. How do people fall for that? Bro, it's Twitter, man. Be more responsible, please.
Como 6, 7 promedio.
¿No ha dejado de llegar la gente?
No ha llegado, Rey.
¿Sabes si eres el único comercio abierto en esta zona metropolitana de Guadalajara?
Tengo entendido que creo somos de los únicos.
De los pocos, a lo mejor, ¿verdad? Estamos en código rojo. Estamos dispuestos a estar aquí atendiendo a los tapatíos.
Seguimos dándole servicio a la gente que está buscando qué comer y pues por lógica estamos para eso.
¿En qué momento va a cerrar esta taquería?
Cuando se termine la gente, Rey.
Sí, los vamos a atender a todos.
A todos.
Pues ahí está. Él es José, que junto con su compañero...
Be responsible with memes? What? No, then be a meme account. Be a meme account. Don't try to be a fucking news account. You can't do both. Okay? That's the point. You're either a meme account or you're a news account. You can't do both. Because if you're a fucking news account, half the time, when you're posting fucking dumbass shit, people think you're being serious. You approach this stand, how many tacos you buying? All of it. All of it. The Vaquero said he will close until there's no more people on the line. Hello, The Onion? What are you talking about? The Onion is a fucking satirical newspaper. The fact that shit that they wrote about in like 2005 is now a normal headline is not their fault. Okay? They were never like a serious news outlet. They were of a satirical news outlet. That's my point. My point is be a satirical news outlet if you're going to be that, but don't do both. Anyway, the rise of Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación, unrest in Mexico. After the reported elimination of El Mencho did not erupt by accident, CJNG has long been compared to ISIS for its structure, mobility, and media presence and ability to penetrate regions where it previously had no foothold. By early 2026, CJNG had become the most aggressive, fastest growing, and best equipped cartel in Latin America. Since 2011, its expansion never stopped under El Mencho's leadership. In terms of brutality, it rivals the infamous Los Zetas. CJNG operates far beyond Mexico, sourcing chemical precursors in Asia and the Middle East, running illegal gold extraction in South America, and distributing drugs across Europe and the United States. Most importantly, it controls key trafficking routes through Mexico and Central America. Its real power lies not just in geography, but in methods. CJNG taxes smaller criminal groups and even legal businesses. Those who refuse to pay are executed publicly. Mutilation is routine. The cartel also absorbs weakened gangs in what analysts call an orphan adoption strategy. 2026 was shaping up to be a decisive year with plans to eliminate remaining rivals and monopolize the market. Oh, now we can't have jokes, you hypocrite. Anyone who jokes less than you is insufferable. Anyone who jokes more so than you is irresponsible. I say hypocrisy. You nailed it, though. Exactly. Do just the right amount of jokes like I do. They actually make use of enhanced interrogation techniques? Yeah. Oh. Jester Ash streamer. Twitch sell HasanAbi frame mock by newsmaxing Twitter chat pamphlets? Yeah. Okay. 4 years ago, I lost a friend to CJNG. They started to kill taxi drivers because their boss refused to order the taxi drivers to distribute drugs. And then that friend was one of those drivers. Jesus Christ. Sorry to hear that, brother. Why are you in this anti-Gavin TikTok?
He's leaving.
Yeah, I wonder why I'm in this anti-Gavin TikTok. So Guadalajara airport was, I think, just chaos. The likely next boss for the CJNG, Abraham Jesus Ambriz Caño, Elias El Yogurt. He has the branch inside the Fuerzas Especiales, Mencho, FEM, known as Operativa Yogurt, called Los Yogurtes or Yoguriza. No, I don't think. What the fuck is this, dude? I don't know. I'm not clicking on this shit. Okay, some of this stuff is more credible than others. Okay. Damn, your pronunciation is A1. I don't fucking know if that's real or not, but I'm not. But yeah, I mean, I'm scared. I'm scared for Claudia Sheinbaum because that's my goat. And I worry that like they're going to try to kill her. You know what I mean? And that's fucking terrifying. Guadalajara, Mexico, Mexico's most powerful drug kingpin. Like she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. And that is both sides of America. But on the one hand, you got fucking, you know, the American-backed cartels. On the other hand, you got the American government. And it's definitely not the best situation to be in. But my goat is standing strong. My goat, my queen, my legend is standing strong, wearing her head high and proud. Nothing can touch her, hopefully. Laura Loomer also said, you know, that she's probably hiding in a bunker somewhere. Guess what? In reality, Sheinbaum, continue your usual weekend touring across the country. Right-wingers are fundamentally incapable of understanding how Mexico cartels are really anything worse in real life. Here she is, out and about. I hung out with my live friends all weekend, and hearing them say they love Claudia and hope Israel gets dismantled was awesome and shows where the base is at compared to our Dem leaders. Wait, your lib Mexican friends were super pro Claudia? Because like that was the biggest criticism for oh my God, it was fucking unbearable. When AMLO was in charge, my chat was so fucking unbearable, bro. The same exact like the same like Cuban right wingers that are now saying like we gotta fucking kill everyone in Havana or whatever. We're literally constantly like, man, you say nice things about AMLO. You say nice things about AMLO. Meh, 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 meh. A lot of them have shut the fuck up since Scheinbaum came in. So that's good. I think like the popularity of Morena has become so undeniable that even the fucking liberal, the libbed up Mexicans in my chat have just quieted down a little bit. But god damn, that shit was so fucking annoying back then. Yeah, my duendes loving goat. The Mexican right PRI and PAN ate nothing. This is giving Scheinbaum a pizza moment mentioned on this week's Soberania. Moments like this happen every day when she's on the road. This closest to a leader feels so alien to the U.S. and across the global north. It's hard to explain to those who don't experience it. Yeah.
Sí. Muchas gracias. Sí, que les vaya muy bien. Sí, sí, claro. Ahí cuando quieran venir.
I need you to fill out that apology form for me. Check logs. Remember when she won the election and I was hyping her up in the chat and you were super skeptical? Dude, it was me versus all the lib Mexicans in the chat. You owe me one. I mean, I'm fond of Morena. That's crazy. By the time that the Scheinbaum election was coming around, I was already on Team Morena. Get the fuck out of here. It was the year prior to the election where people were like really cooking my ass non-fucking stop. I mean, she's literally given an interview to like when AMLO was in charge of Morena, she was giving interviews to my friends like Raina Kalik and stuff. So I just thought she might not be as progressive. But yes, Shiva's fan probably remembers it, not so fondly, but remembers it nonetheless. The amount of fucking chatters in here that were like, Hasan, you don't know anything about Mexican politics. She fucking sucks. Was overwhelming. It's good to have some suspicion. But when they produce results that are undeniable, I'm always going to be on it. Bro, stop. I remember you saying AMLO was wacky and you were skeptical of her. I remember this. Yes, AMLO is wacky. What the fuck? That's still true. Yes, AMLO is wacky as fuck. Or was wacky as fuck when he was... Yes, that's... AMLO was jester. Also, I think you guys are forgetting. Most of my conversation around Claudia Sheinbaum was me defending the Morena party against chatters that were saying, I'm Mexican. You don't know anything about Mexican politics. Claudia Sheinbaum fucking sucks. Are we forgetting that? AMLO was disliked for years before he was elected. He managed to prove his point, but he did election denialism for years. The Mexican center and right gave no choice to the voters, but they eventually vote for AMLO. Sheinbaum compared to AMLO is night and day. I mean, I think she's carrying the torch of AMLO and fairly well, and doesn't have his shortcomings. I'm always going to be skeptical. There was an anarchist in here shitting on them more than pre-on parties. And no, as far as I know, Sheinbaum wasn't Sheinbaum in the same analogous position Zoran is in today? In some respects, yes, she is. If a motherfucker believes in Bigfoot but gets me free healthcare, better public infrastructure, and better quality of life, then I'm suiting up for the Bigfoot squad, you're just describing Jesse Ventura right now. What you're describing is Jesse Ventura, one of my favorite American politicians. So, yeah. Exactly. Like, literally.